And as we're growing, we're feeling uncomfortable because this is, not a feeling that we're used to. But when you get past it and then you sit in the new space and you just think, oh, wow. And then you get comfortable and then it's time to move. Well, hello and welcome to the Arts and Wellness Cafe. It's really good to have you join me. And I'm so glad that you have taken the time to spend a little bit of time with me. So what I've done down below in the description is I've put timestamps. So if you're here and you want to know what bit is coming up at what point, go down to the timestamps and you can go directly to that part if you wish. But I would love it that you just, sit down, relax and, could be you're working on an art journal, or it could be you're doing some stitching, and just do it along and spend that time with me. So today we're going to be looking at the main topic, which is going to be about doing more, being more, just more, yeah? And it's not about for other people, it's about doing more for yourself, and that runoff, the overflow, will then go off and flow to other people. And it's that saying that if you don't look after yourself, how can you be of help to others? So it's for us to think about what it is we need to do more of. How do we need to look after ourselves so that we can be of service to others? And it's also thinking about some of the negative things you need to remove from your life so that you can be more. Yeah, it's those kind of thoughts. How can I be more in tune even to what it is I need to do? How can I be more in tune with what God wants me to do? What the Holy Spirit is kind of, helping me to navigate. How am I navigating this world and being the best version of myself than I can be? And we're also going to be combining it with looking at how we do more in what our offerings are. So our work, our learning, and you can put that in front of most of the titles, like my health. How can I do more for my health? How can I do more in terms of being able to minister to my family, look after my family, inspire? How can we do more? And so when we think about this, it isn't like I've got to be running on empty to do more. We're saying, no, we can't be running on empty. Is it that I need to do more self-care so that I can be of more service? So you can think about the things that you want to do and think about how those things are going to materialize from you taking care of yourself, eating properly, spending time out in nature, resting, spending time with your family and friends, unwinding, learning, and growth. How can I do more for my environment? How can I have less clutter? Or how can I tidy up a bit more? How can I tidy up a bit more? Or how can I make the space for myself so that there can be growth? One of the words that I've had for a long time is letting go. I've had several words over the years and I would have shared that. And so this month, for the ending of this month, it's more. Because you've thought about the things that you wanted to do at the beginning of the year. Even prior to that, you might have started in November. And that's for me. I start before the end of the year so that when you come to the start of the year, it's not like
oh my goodness, I've got to start doing all these things.
It's just a flow, and that's one of my words as well. So letting go and making room was a previous work prior to that. And for me, it was about what are the things that you holding on to that are not allowing you to grow? What are the things that you need to let go of so that the new opportunities that are available, they're all there. They're just waiting for you to either learn additional things, be in the right place, because you've not procrastinated and allowed things to build up. So you've followed through, and all the things that you needed to do have been done because you've stuck to your schedule. You've got a schedule, and you're then in that place that you need to be. So I realized that there were a lot of things that I hadn't done. I'd allowed things to slip, and I need to get back to making the most of the time that I have, because you don't know how long you've got. And I've said previously that depending on how old you are, but I'm talking for people of my age, we have less time ahead of us than we have lived. So what is it you are going to do with the time? And if you want to do more, you need to start now. Don't wait until, oh yeah, next week when I get I'll do that. And because you don't know whether you're going to get next week. So how can you live every day as if it's your last? How can you make the most of every single day and live it to the full and do all the things that you need to do? And so that's something that we should be thinking about. And obviously you do it in your own way, in your own time. But I've got examples of friends and family members who I've lost, who weren't even at their peak, who had more time left in them and were gonna do marvelous things, and they're no longer here. And so when you think about what it is you've got to do, what it is you want to do, what it is you like to do you want this coming year to be like the last? I mean, you might have been one of these people who, there's been like opportunities, you've been, just going at it and achieving and experiencing wonderful things. But you might be one of those people who were waiting for things to happen. You say to yourself,
oh, why can't I do this? Or why can't this happen for me?
And usually the reason is that you're not making room for it. You're not doing the things that you need to do. You're not doing the work that you need to do, or you're not being, and doing the work you need to do means that you're in the place that you need to be. So it is about looking at how we can change the narrative and change our perspective on things, and that's what I have to remind myself. So what are you going to do moving forward? So one of the questions I wanted to ask you to think about is thinking about, well, when we think about more, as a visual artist, when I think about more, it means that I'm not necessarily just working on my own. There may be an opportunity to, say, work with somebody else or collaborate or do an exhibition, and so it's thinking about how can you prepare yourself for those things. Obviously, if you are a visual artist or whatever artist you are, you hope to share some of your work, you hope to show some of your work. So what is it that you need to do for that to happen? And it's not everything that you're going to say yes to, but you're going to want to choose the things that you commit to, and even say yes to things that may get you out of your comfort zone, make you feel uncomfortable. And I was talking to my son recently and talking about how, sometimes we confuse the being uncomfortable with, oh, things are not right, or I'm off, or I'm depressed. And often we've just we've mistaken what that feeling uncomfortable is, because we spend so little time being uncomfortable. We like to stay in our comfort zone. We like to do the things that we know, be around the people we know, do the things that we love, and it's just a rinse and repeat, and we go on and go on until you look around and you think 10 years have gone by and I've still not done the things that I want to do. So if you have this long list of things, you know, goals and dreams, but you never work on them, you're sitting in the comfortable. Because if you started working on one of these dreams and goals, then it would get uncomfortable. It would be, oh, you know, I'm not used to this feeling. I'm not used to this feeling of, and that's what it is. It's this feeling of, you just don't know whether you're doing the right thing, say, or you don't like how you feel. And I realized for myself, whilst I'd said, I want to do all of these things, and I've written them down. I've written out why I want to do them, what it is I want to do. I've broken them down, and I've laid out some systems that I need to follow. And I started, and then I was feeling, oh, you know, things are just not going well, and I think I'd missed a couple of days of journaling, and I hadn't stuck to the schedule, so I was trying to catch up with myself. And then I'd looked at this list and thought, oh my goodness, I've got all these things to do. And then every day it was just like, you're not even scratching the surface. So it was a feeling of, oh gosh, what's happening? And when I thought to myself, well, for one, you know, you haven't stuck to the schedule. And for two, you are doing stuff, but you're not getting enough things done because you're allowing other things that weren't on the list to distract you. And whilst they needed to be done, they weren't important and they weren't urgent. And if you think about, I read the book about the, was it Jack Canfield? Is it Jack Canfield? The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And where he talks about the grid and, you know, what's important and not urgent, urgent, not important, not important, not urgent, and so forth. And you allow these things, like the ringing of a telephone. If I'm expecting a call because we're having a meeting, that's different. But if it's just a call and it's just, you know, somebody that, you know, just you're going to have like chat for an hour about stuff, it's not a specific thing. Okay, these are the things that we're going to do. Let's discuss this and let's come away with actionable points. It's just one of those calls that you could say, well, if you're in the middle of something, let's speak at another time. Let's speak at this day, and then I know that I've carved out the time to talk to you. And yeah, so I had allowed all these non-urgent things to come in. And it's about fixing that. And until you fix it, you are going to feel a bit lost. You are going to feel that you haven't achieved anything. And it isn't until you get back on track, you think to yourself, oh, actually, I've accomplished all these things. Let me stick to the schedule. Let me stick to the systems that I'm trying to sort out. And let's see how far we can go. And I know that every time I've done that, then other doors are opened, other things happen. And, you know, it might be that I'm doing an exhibition. And funnily enough, I will be in an exhibition at the Queen's Park Gallery for the month of March. I'm looking forward to that. And looking forward to some other little collaborations that are coming up. But unless you stick to your schedule and you discipline yourself, you're not going to be able to do these things, and you're not going to be able to it's the growth, and as we're growing, we're feeling uncomfortable because this is, you know, not a feeling that we're used to. But when you get past it and then you sit in the new space and you just think, oh wow, and then you get comfortable, and then it's time to move ahead. So think about the things that you might want to collaborate on with other people. If you would like to do an exhibition, you know, there are a lot of opportunities that are available, but are you ready? Is your work ready? You know, what do you need to do to get your work ready for an exhibition next month or in 2 months? So think about that kind of thing. Do you need to do the work, for instance? Or do you need to, say, collaborate with another artist and, say, do an open studio? It could be that you want to just, you know, have people come into your space and be able to connect with them and, you know, talk with them, let them see what you're doing. And you never know, you might even make some sales from that. Or it could be a festival coming up that you want to, say, hire, book a table that, you know, you could be with additional artists and you share the space. So think about what you're doing now and what you could potentially do that doesn't take a lot to organize. If you're sharing it with another artist, you know, it then enables you to share the costs, to share organizing the day, publicity and things like that. So think about what it is you could potentially do. The other thing in terms of more is just being selective. As you're growing, your experience is growing, you're doing more collaborations, you might be doing more exhibitions, and you need to also think about, well, what are the places that I want to be seen in or need to be seen in, and what are the places that I've outgrown? So as you're growing within yourself as a creative, as an artist, are you outgrowing the spaces that you're in? So you need to kind of look at how that all kind of works together. As an artist, I was exhibiting, but one of the dreams that I had was having my own course platform. And I think I'd initially framed it as I want my own art university. Now, it's not the kind of university that you're going to come out with a degree, but I want people to, when they come out of doing the various courses or spending time within the community that I'm building, is to feel that they've achieved something, that they've learned, and that they're growing, that they have the tools to enable them to grow and to help others. That is the kind of thing, you know. And I also want that everybody that joins within the community is sharing and passing on their hints, tips, their experience, and that we're learning from each other. And the more experience will pass along their knowledge, and it's, you know, like a cycle. People passing on their knowledge, new people coming in, growing, developing, feeling that they've got the tools that they need to move on to their next stage. You come with questions, you get answers, you get inspiration, you feel motivated, and yeah, that thing is passed on to other people. But these things don't happen overnight. They take time. It takes time to build a community. It takes one person showing up on a regular basis, and then that inspires other people. And there's so many communities now that we can be part of. Every course platform that we join is a potential community. And then you've got, you know, social media and the Facebooks and Instagram. Although there's kind of communities there, but the ones where you are impacting on each other and you're showing up, you're sharing your work, they take time to build. And I've acknowledged that to myself, that it's not a overnight, and it's going to take time for you showing up first, for people to see you, to show up and to feel inspired to come back time and time again to the course platform, to do the courses. There's loads of free courses available, but to do and to be able to inspire others. So as you grow, think about those collaborations that meant the most to you. Think about the places that you may have exhibited that had a really big impact. And every time I do an exhibition, it's a learning experience, because you're surrounded by so many talented people, and they all have additional ways of working, additional knowledge, more knowledge in certain things. And it's about learning, it's about growing and seeing, you know, well, oh, so-and-so did that, you know, that's a really good idea in terms of the way you present yourself, the way your professionalism. So there's always opportunities to learn, and you must say to yourself, well, what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn? Every time I come on and do Arts and Wellness Cafe, I think to myself, well, how can I get better? How can I learn? How can I grow? How can I inspire more people? How can I inspire the people that come back and are, you know, they might have come back at a time where they're feeling lost. They need answers to something, and it might be something that I've said, the way that I've framed something that inspires them. So every time, everything that you do, every place that you go, everybody that you interact with is an opportunity for learning and growth and seeing things from a different perspective, so that you can not only be inspired yourself, but you can be an inspiration to others. Here is the book. I've brought out some of my Pro Marker pens, and I'd also brought out some of my, I created a series of art dolls or faces, figures, and these ones are available on my Etsy store. And I was thinking, oh, do you know what I really feel like? I feel like colouring in something, but we'll see anyway. I'll show you both. Anyway, so yeah, I had to remind myself that everything that we do in our creative walk is a gift. It's a gift from God, to enable us to be able to express ourselves in a creative way. So I made this, and it's I Speak Life, and it's a whole list of encouraging words, and it's just reminded me that I really don't spend, hold on, I've got this as well. You're saying to yourself, what is this? But I'm looking at my pens here and I'm thinking, I got these, I've got loads of these, and this is what they're here for. They're here to hold my markers. Okay, so that feels better now. Right, anyway. Yeah, it's filled with encouraging words, and we have the ability to be encouraging to ourselves each and every time we come and we work in a journal. And there are very many different reasons why. And I love going back and reminding myself, when I do a page, it's an encouragement, and it's an encouragement so that when I come back, I can feel encouraged. Like I've got a load of journal pages where, well, we'll look through this one and we'll see. And I mean, look at this particular one, and it says, if you could glimpse just 10% of your ability that you are not sharing, you will be overwhelmed. If you could glimpse just 10% of your ability that you're not sharing. There's so many things that we don't do or don't share because we think, you know, oh, what's somebody else going to say? And it's just like, who are these somebody else's? You're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with yourself, and it's about your growth. Don't look at what everybody else is doing. Just look at what you can do, how you can inspire and encourage. And even if you don't know who you're inspiring and encouraging, you're inspiring and encouraging yourself. And I've said in the past, when I create some of these paintings in my journal, It's for a time such as this where I can just sit and I can say work on an area, add some doodling. I don't have to be committed to a particular page, but I can do something that will encourage me. So this one has also got a little brooch here, and I'd had them for years, and it's like, let me just add this, and I like the way that it looks like she's got, you know, a little necklace on, which has got this nice little brooch as well. So I've got lots of interests, lots of things that I've added, lots of like paper ephemera that I've added to it, and just things that are sitting in my supply that you think to yourself, why is it just sitting there? Let me use it. Let me use it for me. Let me add to my journal and make a space that I'm going to come back and think, I really like that. You know, or even if it's in the moment, I really enjoyed doing that. Okay, so let's have a look through it first, and then if there's a page that really speaks to me, I'll share it with you. But they're all speaking to me. This says, you are loved, you are gorgeous, you are blessed, you are amazing, you are adored, you are beautiful, called, chosen, on time, enough. And these are things that I'm saying to you. You are all these things as well. If you don't have anybody else saying it to you, you are all these things. We've got just some bits of fabric. I can come back and I can stitch these a bit more if I wanted to, add a bit. This is a bit of felt and jeans material. Recognize your responsibility to your heart. It is within. So we've got figures that I painted, cut out, and then added to this collage to the page. So what was cut out, when this figure was cut out, I used the cut out part and added it to this page, and we've got the bird here. And there's just so many areas that make me feel good in terms of being able to doodle on them and add and just remind myself as I sit in the recognizing my responsibility to my heart and the things that I say I want to do, places I want to go, experiences I want to have. I can just meditate on them while I work on a page. So I might not even get to, say, doing a colouring page or working on any of these, but we'll see. Bloom, grow, flourish. And then we've got a little pocket. This has been made out of a jeans material and added. This is cami leather that's been printed and stenciled and doodled on. And you know, imagine the things that you have within your supplies that you could create for yourself. This is such a lovely gift to be able to take a look in. And in this mini journal, I think I've got quite a few faces that I created, a bit of journaling. The time has come to step out of your shell and shine bright. So we've got some stamps that I created and added, some doodling. These faces I'd started, I hadn't finished. Abundance, but I can come back in and do something small on them, or take my Pro Marker pens and work in them. This is from a drawing that I did. I did a portrait and then I photocopied it and then used it. Same with this one. I did some Zentangles and I was selected to be in a book, and this was this was the image. Okay, so that's a nice little thing that I can come and think, let me do something in this book. We've also got some metal that I used, got these pattern scissors. And I cut into the metal. But I'm going to continue to go through it. I'll play some music, but I'll come back at the end. So I left the rest of that page. I deliberately walked away. I do still feel like working on it, but I thought sometimes you need to, yeah, just walk away from it and come back and then see how you feel about it. This was a painting that I did on some card. I wanted to do more of them. I only did one of her, but I really liked the way she turned out, and then cut her out and put her in here. And it is really about new beginnings. But as you can see, as we go through the book, you can see that there are pages that I like them. I like the look of them, but now coming back, I want to do more to it, and it's like it feels nice to be able to have a page where you can come back and do some more on it and get it to that finished space. Like, I don't have to start from the beginning or start with a blank page. Not that I mind it, but I'm not feeling it at the moment. These have been stitched, painted and stitched. They're circles, and I've written something that I would like to do. I think I did this in I was teaching on a course with T.R. Smith, and one of her sessions was to create these circular books and write all the things that, I think this one was the things that encourage and inspire, and the things that you'd like to do, travel, see the world, and meet new people. Barbados. Bursting out there with the beautiful, I think there's nearly 30 beaches, and they're known for their beaches. Some of them are really lovely. But yeah, I haven't been to all of the beaches, so that's something to put on the bucket list. Follow your bliss. This was when I was getting into neurographic art, and I still include it. I love, I can't see a word or letters without working on them, and this is one that I'm going to come back to. But follow your bliss. So think about what it is you want, and think about what you need to do to get there. What are the steps you need to take? What is it you can do today? After you've finished here, what is it that you can do to move closer to what it is you want? What are the steps you need to take? What is it you need to give up? Do you need to step away from that chocolate? That'll be me. Step away from the chocolate. I find that I can't have a chocolate bar in the house without it. If it's here, I'm going to eat it. If it's not here, I'm fine. But once it's in the house, it's just like, sorry, love. Anyway. So these were pieces that I had created. I've created some stamps. And when I did the 100 days of foam stamps, I created some foam stamps and then I stamped it onto a card and added it here. This is using letters and then covering them and then adding some gold rub on. But again, I would love to come back in and do some doodling on the page, and that's for another time. But I can just do these little ones as we go along. And in this one, we've got a scripture here. It says, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. John 14 verse 6. And I've done a little bit of journaling, and then I've got this mini journal here that I've added. Make a wish, celebrate. The right people and situations will always show up as soon as it is time. Everyone needs someone to lean on, even you. So even though as a creative you can often find yourself on your own, we need community. We need to reach out to others. A reminder. So again, this whole journal has been a real encouragement to me, and you can have those encouragements for yourself as well. Explore, make wishes, dream big, celebrate, live in colour, dance and laugh out loud. And then we've got another scripture here from Matthew 7:7. It says, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open. Seek, ask and knock. I'm just thinking about all the things I want to do with this one to add to it. I live my life to the fullest. How are you going to live your life to the fullest? Like we've said, you know, the topic more. When we think about doing more, being more, experiencing more, laughing more, loving more. How are you going to move from where you are to where you want to be? It's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? Not that you'd want to eat an elephant, but it's one bit at a time. Blessed be the name of the Lord. He's worthy of all the praise, all the honor, and the glory. So this is another page to be complete. I can see some doing some ink work in here. I want to add some yellow. I'm feeling yellow. And yeah, that will be, you know, some of these pages will be some of the things that we'll work on over time. And then I've still got some pages in here where it's unfinished. It's more pages than I thought. We've got a nice little pocket here. I can put some things in. Ooh, and we've got a pocket here. So it's nice to be able to make yourself something that you can come into, feel inspired, and then do something at the end of the book or on one of the pages. Like there's many pages that have not been totally complete, or that even like I just did this one, I'm liking the way that it's looking. I'm liking the doodling. And then these pages, once they're complete or I've got it to a certain point, I might decide to take a photograph of this and then use it in another journal page. There's no one's saying that, you know, if you've got a page that you really like, that you can't take a photograph of it and then use it in something else. Like I like this figure that I made up. I'd like to use that figure even this lady, the trees. So yeah, I would take a photocopy, black and white. You could even create a colouring page. So let's have a look at some of these like little things that I created. So these are figures that I created, and as I say, I've got them on in my Etsy store, and I've coloured some of them in, but they come in a variety of different sizes that you can add to a journal. You could add to a page, or it could be the start of something on a page. So I could do something and do some writing as well. Or if it's one of the smaller ones, let me show you. There's more, there's about 15 that I've done on in my Etsy store, and there's more to come. But you've got a whole range of different faces, and you can alter them if you want. So some of them, I'll show you with this one. So like this one, she comes with shiny bumps. It's a hairstyle, but you can cut it off and put, you know, or put your own figures, you know, make your own figures and do the body if you want. So I had fun. I mean, I love making faces. I love creating faces. And yeah, these are nice when you colour them in as well. I've been using alcohol markers and like the Pro Marker pens, or if you've got the Posca pens, so whatever you've got, you use. And as I say, it's nice to have them that you can add to a page. If you didn't want to do a face, your own face, you could add one of these faces to the page, or use it as inspiration. Here, this face is from a stamp I created, and I really do like this face. But yeah, I can even maybe put some of them in a pocket for further use further down the line. I could put them in that pocket here. Put you in here. Oh, I've got 3 pockets. Oh, I've got 4 pockets. Oh, I didn't realise I made so many pockets. Oh, look. Surprising myself. Yeah, so anyway, so I've got a few pockets I can work with, and so I can still, or I can, I would probably do some writing on something and put it in a pocket as opposed to writing on here, but I would use this for encouraging words. Anyway, so let's get back into the cafe. Okay, so I had fun working in that. I really enjoyed working in this journal, and I'm definitely going to come back to it, and I will be over time creating some videos where you see a page and see it complete. I'm really sorry about there's nothing I can do about the guy. He's they call it whacking the grass. No, they don't call it whacking the grass, cutting the grass with a whacker. Anyway, so I've started the 100-day project, and I've been sharing my art, and that's, you know, it's been an interesting feeling, and I'm just thinking about the whole process, and it's very different from how I would normally do my previous 100-day projects, where I would actually, you know, I did the 100 days of making my own foam stamps. So I made my own foam stamps, I had 100 days of pastels. I had 100 days of collage, using collage fodder and creating collage. I'm looking back here because it's like literally here. So was that one of them? Yeah. Anyway, they're all messed up now. So 100 days, 30. That was day 31. That was day 41, 40. I had put them in some sort of order. Anyway, so I haven't yet decided what to do with them. My foam stamps, I wanted to share them and use some of them, share on my Etsy or my course community platform, because there are other people who liked the stamps and wanted to, you know, be able to use them. So I'm still working on that, and now we're working on the 100 days of sharing my art. And I think it's that thing where we say we want to do it but we don't do it, and doing the 100-day project and sharing my art has made me revisit some of the work that I've done and think about whether it was a particular thing that I really enjoy doing. So in the beginning, I've been sharing a lot of the fabric projects I've done, and I haven't yet got on to the abstract pieces, like even this piece here is a more abstract piece of fabric work. But it's been amazing. It's some of the comments and encouraging. I'm just trying to get comfortable. It's encouraging some of the comments that I've received, and so that's kind of just encouraged me to kind of, yeah, you know, my goodness, it's like you're hiding things under a blanket and not letting anybody see them or let them see the light of day. And so yeah, I've been enjoying sharing, but as I say, it's a very different way of doing the project because I was always making something. The other thing that I'd like to do, I'm trying to put together my catalogue of work. So this is a great way for me to have that as a focus. At the end of the 100 days, I want to come out with a catalogue of my work. Obviously it's 100 pieces. I do have more than 100 pieces, but it's a great start to be able to get that catalogue, you know, off the ground. And so if somebody wanted to see the breadth of work that I've done, I don't have to be digging around and and here's another photo of this or whatever. And it's about the more, you know, it's linking in with doing more, being more. In the past, I may have said, okay, here's a few photographs that show the example of things that I've done, but no, here's my catalogue. And if you want the price list, that's separate. So yeah, so here's another piece. You get to have a sneak peek if you haven't seen that already. But as I say, it's really nice to be able to just focus on what you want to do. So if you're doing the project for yourself, how is it you're making it work for you? A artist colleague, Kiala Giphand, is doing completing projects, and so she's working through projects that she's got in her studio that are incomplete. And I was just like, yeah, that's a really great idea, because I've got so many incomplete projects. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing Material Mondays, because it was like, you're sitting on these fabric projects that want to be complete, that want to be able to bless others. So why not get them done and you're sharing as well? So I've really enjoyed sharing my projects and looking at, say, maybe even some of the techniques that I use in the projects on Material Musings. Sorry, it used to be called Material Mondays. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing with the 100-day project, sharing my artwork, and say half the artwork is fabric projects. We've got clay, paper clay, sculptural projects, paintings that I've done. I've done some assemblage art. I haven't shown any of that, so I'm excited to show you some of my the assemblage art it's not a new thing for me because I've been doing it as I've been going on, but I just haven't shared any of it. So I'll be looking forward to sharing that with you as well. And if you come onto my Patreon and become a member, it's free to become a member, and you'll get to see some of the pieces early. You can sign up to my Patreon for free as a member and just be alerted for when I've uploaded any posts. There's usually something weekly, and they usually get to see early releases and things earlier than they would, say, on my blog or say on social media. I also recently just shared my fabric fragments kit, which includes a selection of handmade fabric, hand-dyed wax resist fabric. So there's a large selection of that. I think in total there's about 30 pieces of fabric. So you've got the hand-dyed, wax resist, painted, etc. And then you've got a selection of printed fabric. I think it's nice to be able to share different fabrics that we might have. Some of mine are vintage, some are from different countries. I've been collecting fabric for many years, and I just felt that, you know, we sit on a lot of things. There's a limit. There is a limit to how many things I'll be able to for the rest of my life get to make. I'm not going to be able to make everything that with all the supplies that I have. So if there are some supplies I would like to share, I've been doing that in the fabric fragments. But we also have in the kit a stitch piece, and it's just an example here of a stitch piece that may be in the kit. There's a variety of different pieces that I've stitched over time, and I'm selecting from that. And the piece that you may get is a random piece, but it will be, say, 5 by 7, say this size, and it will have slow stitching. It might have some machine stitching as well as a slow stitching, some beading or some words, or, you know, like this one has it's got some elements on there. And it will also you will also be able to either hang it, so it won't come with the dowel, but it will come with the bits that you can either put it into, like put the dowel into it and then hang it up, so it'll be very easy for you, or you can frame them. So most people frame them, put them in a frame, and it looks really pretty, protects the fabric as well. You have to make sure that you don't put it in, you know, bright sunlight, especially the dyed pieces or the hand dyed with the natural dye pieces. But yeah, so that's that. I've sent out a few packages. It's been really encouraging to have the responses of people who've received them. So that's the fabric kits, but if you sign up to my course platform, and you also get some video footage of working on some fabric and how I've worked on different pieces. So if you're a member of my Patreon, they get, on one of the tiers, they get a variety of different discounts of any of the courses that I do on my course platform. So you can maybe think about doing that. Like if you join at the $3 tier, you'll be able to not only get access to over 400 videos, digital downloads and things like that, tips and hints and tutorials, you'll also be able to receive certain discounts on certain things. So that's worthwhile checking out. So now it's time for tip for the week. So tip for the week is looking at self-care. What is it that you're doing to look after yourself? And if, as we say, you know, it's about doing more, being more, thinking about the things, more of the things that we want in our lives, you have to put in there some self-care and have a self-care routine, some self-care habits, some self-care things that you do for yourself on a daily basis. So I know if I'm feeling off, what actually does really help me is going out into my garden. So not only going out into my garden and just looking at all the things that are growing, the birds in their nests and the twittering and everything, but I take off my shoes and I just find a nice patch. There's this patch of grass where I normally sit, and just feel the coolness of the grass under my feet. And we're grounding ourselves, yeah? So it's just a calmness and a peace that I receive when I'm out there, and then coupled with, you know, the breeze blowing and the sun shining, and, you know, just feeling at peace and feeling at one with God, and just being grateful for the things that I am able to do or that I have. There's just a peace that comes over me, and then it's almost like I'm rejuvenated, and then I come back and just get on with stuff. But it's that, doing that on a regular basis. What other things can you do to look after yourself, to make time for yourself, to not say that you're going to do something for yourself and then let yourself down? Yeah, so self-care, that's the tip for the week. Think about what it is you're going to do today. Okay, so looking back at the book that we started this month, it's called Treasured Notions. So we're going to take a look at something that I was inspired by and look at that project. Okay, so we're looking at the book Treasured Notions, and I was looking at some of the projects. I think I've done one of them, which was the medals, these ones. So I've used my own materials and brads and things like that. But this is one that caught my attention. It's something that I've done, and it was called Memory Book, and it's to take a book and to you know, decorate it. They've done some slow stitching with some really nice and then added some really nice elements, some gold thread and things like that, and created some pockets. And this is created a cover that you can change it up if you needed to or wanted to. So this is something that if you've got somebody you're looking after, or even just for yourself, but I did this for my mum, and it was a book that had pictures of her, and I was trying to find it, but I think I was going to work on it, and I've put it somewhere, and I bet you by the time I finish in the cafe that I will find it. Anyway, so I'm just thinking of going back to the other camera. So that is the one of the things that you can do, and that's a lovely little thing that you can, you know, mini journal that you can carry around with you. Yeah, so that's what I created, and as I say, I created this mini, it was about this size, it's a composition notebook, about this size. It was hardcover, and it's got all the things that Mum likes to do, how many children, she's been on holiday, photos. So it's a nice talking point for if you're caring for somebody, or if you have somebody to give you respite, then they will get to know the person by talking about the things in the book. Looking through the photographs is a nice activity to talk about, oh, where did you go here? This is a lovely picture. So that might open up, you know, them talking about the holiday experience. They might not necessarily remember exactly where it was or the year, but they might remember the feeling. I was talking to somebody about me, myself, and my mother being on a beach in Portugal, and it was like it was just like, it was almost like standing room only, but we managed to find a bit of sand, and we'd literally just come from the hotel and thought, you know, we didn't want to necessarily go in. Like, Mum was in the more advanced stages of dementia, but she was still, you know, that was one of the times she ran off as well. And we found her in this club dancing in front of this band. It was just like, oh my goodness. Like, we turned our back for a minute, and Mum must have heard the music. We turned our back for a minute, and Mum was off. And it was funny, everybody was standing around the edges looking at the band. And then I thought, that's Mum. She was right in the middle, and she's like, you know, dancing as the band, and everybody's just like, you know, like really, it's happy, you know, it makes them happy seeing somebody enjoying themselves. And she was just like fearless. The dementia brought on a fearlessness and humour, and she had a sense of adventure. That's the thing that I will always remember. You know, yes, there were the bad times, the times that were challenging, the times where I can't do it anymore. I just can't. I don't want to, but I did, obviously. You know, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And that's always been something that I can attest to. The circumstances may not have changed, but your perspective has. But yeah, thinking back to all those times, it's just like been a joy. It's been a joy of the experiences. If I say to Mum, you know, do you fancy doing this? And she'll be like, yeah, okay. And even when, you know, towards the later years where she found it more difficult to hold a continuous sentence, but she would, you know, she would talk. Or mobility, like, we got wheelchair, let's go. So the memory book is something that for your friends, for your family, for you to be able to look back on. I think the reason why I can't find it is I put it somewhere because I was going to repair the spine of it is coming away, and so I want to make some repairs to it. But if you've got a scrapbook, you know, you can start that. But that's what I love about looking at inspiration around me. So this book has just brought back a memory of something that I've done that I need to revisit, and that I even need to make one of my own life so that my son and grandchildren can be able to look at it in times to come when either I'm not around, or, you know, God forbid that, you know, you want to be as healthy as you can, but the reality, one of the realities is that if you don't look after yourself, you're going to find mobility a problem. So again, do more. You have to make the most of your life. You have to use the time wisely that you now have. So I hope you maybe even think about, you know, that for yourself, creating a memory book, or you may have started one already. So it's, you know, okay, let's relook at this and see how we can use this. Or if you're caring for somebody and, you know, their mobility is an issue, or they're unable to speak, or, you know, they have difficulty, they've got, you know, neurological diseases, so, you know, dementia, say, that you've got a resource that you can tap into. So as we speed towards the end of the Arts and Wellness Cafe, I hope that you've picked up some hints and tips. And the question of the week now is, what is your favorite art related challenge that you've undertaken? Now, depending on where you are in your journey, you might be at the beginning of your journey saying, oh, but you know, I haven't had that opportunity yet. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what that might be for me. I think there's been several. So when I've stepped out of my comfort zone, those have been the times where I've experienced the greatest joy from the things that I'm taking part in. So very early on in my career, I took part in a initiative called the Big Draw, and I signed up to be one of the artists who would be in the gallery and encourage people to take part. And we were given these like little drawing pads that we could give out to people. I mean, you know, like as a reminder, because people, as soon as they come into the museum, it was down in Kensington side, Museum of Mankind, I think it was at. So they'd come in, they'd get these drawing pads and pencils, and they'd be encouraged to go around to the different galleries and to be inspired. And as attendance there, as a visual artist attendance, we were there to encourage people. So that was really out of my comfort zone, but it was really nice to be able to encourage people to draw, or, you know, whatever the exercise was. So I did that for about 3 or 4 years. And it was lovely connecting with other artists and just people who were encouraged, and it's still going on. So that's nice to see, and I think it's kind of extended in different ways. So think about what it is that you can do. You know, I enjoy this. Doing this was the first time I did it was a challenge for me, because it was just like, oh my gosh, you know, what is it you're doing? But I knew I wanted to have something that had variety, that I could share, that I could, you know, chat. And I think this week, as I say, there are the chapters are there. So this week it's a bit longer this week because I spent more time on the art journal page. But definitely go to the chapters and you can jump about and see, you know, where you want to be or need to be. So think about what that challenge could be that you've either undertaken or that you can potentially do that will stretch you and grow you even more. So I think we're going to round it up now. We'll round up everything that we've gone through, everything that we've thought about. We've thought about the word more, and we've thought about things that we could potentially do as creatives, as artists. Can we collaborate with different people, more people, inspiring people? Can we get ourselves among people that inspire us and encourage us? Think about what kind of projects you're working on, and what is it you want the outcome to be. Why is it you're doing it? So say, looking at, for me, the 100-day project, I want to put my catalogue together, and this is a great way to look at the work, to revisit the work, think about the work, talk about the work, share the work, and put it in a catalogue. And who knows, somebody might see something that they think, oh my gosh, I really want that piece, and it's a piece that's been finished. So think about what you can do for yourself, how you can grow the self-care. Look at the tip of the week. How can you think about self-care for yourself even more, and make time for yourself? Think about the question, what challenges, you know, when we're doing more, we're working at our optimum, we're getting enough rest, we're following our systems, we're not procrastinating, and we're getting things done. What more challenges, what more opportunities are going to open up towards you, and that you can step into? Think about what it is you want for your life. We're coming towards the end of another month. As you go into another month, like, you know, we're a quarter of the way. Yeah, quarter of the way. End of March will be, yeah. So what do you want for March? What do you want for the rest of the year? Have you managed to do the things that you wanted to do in the last couple of months? Have you managed to stick to your schedule? Don't beat yourself up about it, but if you need to step up, step up. If you need to recommit yourself, then do that. Do it in love to yourself. Do not let yourself down. Do not go back on your promises to yourself. And you're going to see a whole range of new things and wonderful things happening because you decided that you were going to step up and be more for you. That will trickle down to others, because as you're being more for yourself, you're inspiring others. Others are saying, oh my gosh, you know, I'm really encouraged by what you do. I'm really inspired, and it's given me so many ideas that I can walk away with. So I hope that you stay blessed. I hope that you stay focused, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care for now.